All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan. If it is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. We have a lot of information to go through, about an hour and a half's worth of streaming that we're going to try and condense down to about 10 minutes. Get you all of the MLB 21 information, get you in here, get you out of here as quick as possible. So without further ado, let's hop into it. All right, so far we are 3 for 4 on the Legend Reveals with Grady Sizemore, Alfonso Soriano, and Roberto Clemente. Number 4 being Kirby Puckett, who was announced today. I will be putting a link down in the description below of the Legend Reveal video that we did about 2 weeks ago now, I want to say, maybe 3, as well as the video of how to use these players' swings today in MLB The Show 20, so that you have an idea if you're able to hit with the card. That way you know if you want to put your investment into that card in MLB The Show 21. Now the first thing is check swings. Plate discipline has been removed. It is no longer an attribute, which is great for us because in MLB The Show 20 you could check swing every single pitch and it not be a strike. This will no longer be the case. Now perfects have also been retooled. Now 99+% of them will result in a fair ball. It was maddening in this past year to have a perfect result in a foul ball. PAR. What is PAR? It is perfect accuracy region. Now this is the circle around a pitch when you've selected it. It is affected by your energy and confidence, and as you see on the screen here, if you throw the ball and it is a perfect release, it will always go and stay in the little circle around the baseball. The lower levels have much easier to hit PARs. The higher levels you go, the harder it is to pinpoint exactly where you want a pitch to be thrown, but you are guaranteed that with a perfect release, it will go in that circle. Now again, you have to remember that this is based off of your energy and your confidence. So if one of those is lacking, just because you have a perfect release does not mean that the pitch will stay in that circle. A curveball in the first inning will not be the same as a curveball in the 7th. Now on the screen here, you will see Blake Snell's repertoire. Now, his fastball has a small par, while his curveball, his 4th pitch, has a much larger one. For live series pitchers, their pitches are ranked from the amount of times they threw them the previous year. This will also have an effect on how accurate those pitches are. A pitcher is much more likely to have his primary pitch be accurate compared to his 4th or his 5th pitch. Now that is something that needs to be remembered when throwing your splitter, which is your 6th pitch or your 5th pitch, and it not going where you wanted. So next up is pinpoint accuracy. Quite frankly, it seems like a bitch and a half to try and figure out. It's a mix of analog, meter, and whatever the hell else there was. It wasn't pulse, but there's a lot going into it. You have to have your timing down. You have to have the exact figure of whatever pitch you're throwing. Each pitch is going to have a different look to it. Quite frankly, I'm probably not going to mess with this, but yeah, it's interesting. So in the diagram here, you're seeing a bunch of different colors, green, yellow, sometimes red. That is your timing. And the blue line down there is actually the release of the ball. So you're going all the way around and then pulling down when it's time for your pitcher to throw the ball. Up on the screen, there is every pitch here. You'll see the differences in them. It's far too much for me to pay attention to. As you see here, fastball is going to be the easiest. It's straight up and down. That seems fine. But then you get into curveballs and stuff like that, and every pitcher is different. They're going to have different timings. Clayton Kershaw, you're going to have to wait on before you release it compared to somebody out of the stretch. They say this is the most accurate version, but frankly, I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to stick with meter. In terms of PAR, perfect accuracy region again, the most accurate is going to be through pinpoint accuracy, followed by meter and then analog. If you use pinpoint and have a perfect release, you are much more likely to have the ball go exactly where you wanted compared to you having a perfect release on analog. So yeah, I'm going to stick with meter. You guys can mess around with whichever one you want though. So now that we have talked about pitching, let's get into fielding. This is an area where I feel that they have made the most progress actually. It seems as though individuals who are great at fielding will mean more to your team than they did in the past, which is terrible for guys like David Ortiz, but fantastic for guys like Kevin Kiermaier. So there are hundreds of new catch animations in the game. Balls off the wall will now be easier to field. Balls at the wall should no longer fly by your head, even though you are under them. The new animations which they have put into the game will allow for those balls to be caught. I believe they said within a two-step radius on each side of you. When it comes to robbing home runs, there is now a new indicator. It is three arrows. They start as red and then they end up in green. Once the third arrow becomes green, you essentially jump to rob the home run. Instead of just jumping straight up and reaching straight up to catch the ball, the fielders now reach to the sides as well as over the wall to rob the home run. These are all great things which I think will pay off majorly. However, I also feel like we are going to get a hell of a lot of home runs robbed this year, and it's going to also infuriate players. So hopefully it's a happy medium and we don't have too many issues with it. But it looks like they've made a lot of progress with fielding so far. The route you take to the ball has a huge effect. In the footage here behind me, you'll notice that there is a cone essentially as you're running towards a ball. That is the path that you should take. The further you go away from that, the worse angle you're going to have, the worse animation you're going to get, the more bases the other guy can get. All right, and here we are with today's update, which is for Road to the Show / Diamond Dynasty. It includes a professional podcast following your career with dynamic interviews with players like Sean Casey and Cliff Floyd. This reminds me of the glory days of Madden with the Tony Bruno show in the franchise mode. I am truly excited to see how this plays out, and quite frankly, it might get me back into Road to the Show. It's been so long since I played. I thought it was such a boring, for lack of a better way to put it, mode. It all just seemed the same. And I'm really hoping that this offers something a bit different. There's 180 different cutscenes that you could see, all dynamic, so it's all based off of how you're doing and what you're doing. So very interesting. I love the take that they are going with this. I might have to check it out. Now, another thing they talked about is loadouts for your player. So it looks like before each game you play, you'll actually get to choose how you would like to use your created player. So if you wanted to do a speed guy one game, you can. If you want to do a power guy one game, you can. You have the ability to change your player based off of how you want to play with him. Very interesting concept. I honestly don't understand how that works, especially for like Road to the Show. If I'm switching between power hitters and speed guys, am I just gonna hit with like 20 power one game and then 70 power the next? Like, how does that work? Very interesting, especially when it comes to like Diamond Dynasty. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but definitely something that we'll have to look into. So one thing that is a little bit different is the fact that there is going to be programs for your created player, much like there has been. However, this can be achieved, the goals can be achieved through either Road to the Show or Diamond Dynasty. It looks like there are single game missions, which you can do for both in Road to the Show, which is getting like 10 hits, getting 25 hits, and then also Diamond Dynasty, which is tallying 3 hits and stuff like that. So it looks like it's a little bit of both combined in the same program. I would imagine that to get full progress, you would have to have a little bit of progress in both Road to the Show and Diamond Dynasty, especially if they're going to give you an option to have like a 99 two-way player. I'd imagine they want you to put some time in both modes. So ultimately, very excited to see what MLB The Show 21 has. Everything that they have shown so far has been fantastic. I have already gone and purchased the deluxe edition, which is the $99 version of the game. Going to come with 2 diamonds, which I'm looking forward to. Hopefully Alfonso Soriano is one of those diamonds. I'd very much like that. I'd like a power hitting second baseman with a little bit of speed to begin the year. Anywho, if you enjoyed the video today, please hit like, click subscribe. Come back for the next one. We will have plenty of videos before MLB The Show 21 comes out. We will have many videos after it comes out. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are as well. Thank you for joining today. Have a great one. Stay safe out there.